Welcome to another episode of the Progress Always podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anders, and I've got with me the head coach at Next Level Performance Consulting, Matt Smithwick. What's going on, brother?
What's up, dude? Thanks for having me on here.
For sure, bro. For sure. I'm having an awesome time interviewing you guys. I had Alyssa on last week, and she brought a lot of interesting insight from her athletic career into the conversation, and I'm genuinely curious, kicking off this conversation. Tell me about your transition away from baseball and into professional coaching, like coaching as a profession.
Yeah. It's funny. I think about this moment often, but it was towards the end of, I played 5 years. I redshirted my freshman year and then ended up having 4 more years after that. But during that 5th year, I was hurt. One surgery after another, it felt like, for basically that whole season. Ended up playing, maybe getting 11 at-bats. For context, an everyday starter gets like 200, 220 at-bats in a season. So basically kind of wasn't a wash. I learned a lot that year, but in a different way. But at the end of that season, my coach asked me, kind of sat down, arm was in a sling, fitting for the season. He's like, yo, you ever think about getting into coaching? Like, you ever think about joining the staff here? And I immediately shot that down. Like, I was like, absolutely not. I'm good. I want no part of that. And it's funny, that moment still crosses my mind so frequently, considering that's all I do now. But just in such a different context. Like, it's not, I realize now it was the baseball side of it, not the coaching side of it, that I was kind of good with at that moment. And then just having time away from the game, time away from people, and having that, that big boy job there for a little bit, kind of in between, kind of reinvigorated that love for actually like leading others, being around others in that coaching environment and that coaching type of setting. Because I realized that's what was missing that for the longest time, was, not just like coaching in that setting, that kind of office type of, regular 9-to-5 type of setting. It's not the same. It's not, the performance driven coaching that I realized now is what I love so much and was kind of missing from it. And it's like, I think back to that conversation, where that conversation to come up right now today, I'd like probably be down for it, because now I understand what aspect of it I do like and what aspect I was saying no to. And so, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought on that question, getting into that little segue there. But
no, man, that's awesome. It's to have an opportunity like that soon. One, it says a lot about what a lot of us recognize in you and the intangibles that go into coaching, right? But also there's this shift, right? Especially when, like, you don't get to choose how the game ends, right? The game, the tongue in cheek narrative is the game quit you didn't quit the game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, like, it's completely understandable that in that moment you're like, it was a hard no.
Yeah, it's like that little bit of like bitterness in there.
Some ego involved, like I still got a couple of, it's like in that moment you're like, wait a minute, like if the average is 200, I still got 189 at bats left.
Yeah, I'm still good to go, right?
Like, yeah. It sounded like you had a lot more promising career in terms of your overall collegiate experience in baseball than I had in football, where, there was nothing beyond college for me in the game of football, so that kind of gave me the clarity and ease, so that when the game was done with me, injury killed it for me too. But when the game was done for me, I was like, well, shit, there's nothing beyond this anyway. So, like, coaching was the very natural segue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself when you went and got your big boy job?
Yeah, I realized first off, I can't do this forever. Like I learned that just about right away. I needed that that hands-on kind of stimulation that coaching provides. But also that I had that for, what was it, 2 years, year and a half, 2 years or so. And just kind of gave me that realization that I had done, the path that everyone else does for so long. Played all the sports growing up, got the good grades, did all that type of stuff, went to college, kept the path going as, keep playing as long as you can in that sense. And realized that for the first time in my life, I had autonomy over what I could do. And I could actually pick what I wanted to do. I didn't have the play in college or play in high school, and then you go play in college, then you go play professionally, wherever that looks like. That's kind of a pretty set path for most baseball players. You play until that path runs out. And once that path did run out, a lot of us are left. Shit, what the hell do we do now? So
Yeah.
Learning, kind of having that come sooner than I would have liked. Kind of, looking back, I'm kind of grateful for that, because I got to speed up that process a little bit and kind of force me into that situation to learn that it's up to me now. I can pick what I want to do. I don't have to keep doing what everyone else is doing just because that's what everyone else has been doing for so long. That's kind of the normal, the expected route. And finally learning that I could choose, what I want to do, where I wanted to go, was that was it for me. When I finally realized that, that's what kind of did it.
Yeah. Dude, that you were super productive with your, the opportunities that you had before you in college, right? There aren't too many guys that walk out of their collegiate playing days with a master's degree.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of guys that I know, still had, 2, 3, 4 semesters left because they were just, fucking off while they were playing. Right. So, but at the same time, through your Berkman assessment and all that kind of stuff, and just as I know you, right, you have a really high work capacity, right? The ability to handle and manage a lot of things simultaneously, and your plate's pretty full all the time. Where do you get that from?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never really thought about that. I don't know. I think a lot of it stems from just as far back as I can think, I always kept myself busy with something. Even just as a little kid, little kid in the summertime, you got no school, you have nothing to do, but I'm still finding things to do, or go make something, or go oh, it sounds fun to go build a skateboard ramp today. I'm going to go do that. And then that's my project for the next week, or whatever it is. There's always something like that going on, and I think where exactly that comes from, I don't really know, to be honest. If you dig down on a deeper level, I'm sure we could find an answer in there, but I've just always felt like there's something to be doing, whatever that something is. It just seems the whole phrase of let's go kill an hour, or let's go waste some time. I've never really understood that. I've never really understood the concept of killing time, just because I feel there's always something to be done, something to be accomplished, however small or big that is.
So, I've had the pleasure of meeting your parents at Wadapalooza, so it's not a mystery to me how and why you are the way that you are. Right.
Yeah.
You've got, your mom has seen the world, and the airlines have facilitated that for her, and your dad is hyper industrious,
that's a good point.
As a practicing attorney. So, there's a lot of modeling going on.
Yeah. I will touch on that real quick too. He's Probably most of it comes from him. Actually, that dude's always doing something. He's fixing the cars, fixing the air conditioning, fixing the sprinkler system out back. Like he's always got something going in addition to being a full-time attorney. That keeps your hands full in itself.
Sure,
But he's a big time like jack of all trades type.
So here's a question for you. All of that being said, your archetype, your work ethic, your incessant productivity, all of those things that are, what people from the outside looking in see Matt and are like, holy shit, that dude just has it together. He is always doing something, right? Like a lot of people aspire to be like Matt, right? When it comes to coaching, because most of the people that we work with are not like that, right? Like naturally, at the very best for most of us, it's a learned behavior, right? How do you kind of put guardrails on what's so natural for you and, coach with a level of empathy that helps raise that inside your clients?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from like playing ball in college. I think I pull a lot from that, especially being there for 5 years, having a full extra season to just observe others. Because it's like I remember when same thing all through high school, through early years of college was the same thing. Like it's all baseball all the time. There's always something to do. Can always spend more time in the cage, spend more time, on the field. There's always something to me. Then I get there, I'm at, playing Division I ball and realizing so many of these other guys, they're cool. Just go to practice, go home, do whatever, play video games, whatever that looks like. And like, to be honest, dude, at first I didn't really understand that. I didn't really get that. Like, how can you not want to go do more all the time, constantly? But then over time, I think that fifth year, especially being hurt in that fifth year, helped realize that a lot, helped kind of just more time to watch that while not really being a part of it. It helped me come to the understanding and the realization that just not everyone is wired that way. Not everyone wants to go all the time. Some people like to, for lack of a better term, just do the bare minimum, do what needs to be done and get out. Like, not everyone wants to go do more stuff afterwards because they like doing that. So being able to kind of think about that and understand that and have that experience of seeing so many different dudes come through, different archetypes, different personalities, everything, but especially that, that group, that mold that didn't really, they're still very good players. They just show up, do well, go home. Like, realizing that that's also a possibility in the world, that there are people out there like that too, helps so much to draw in here, working with clients that, like, they want to show up for an hour, get their work in and go, get out of here and go do what needs to be done for the rest of the day, whether it be work or whatever. And like, having that experience to draw on has been huge in helping me understand that and being able to kind of empathize with that. Because while I may not be wired like that, I understand that people are. And yep. I attribute so much of that to playing ball and being there for 5 years.
So you're also a really humble dude, right? It's very rare. You've got a very healthy competitiveness about you. Mm-hmm. Like Matt's going to try and come in first.
Oh yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Always. We're not here to lose.
Right. Recognizing that not everybody, wants to, push the envelope in that way in terms of performance, whether it's physically or in other realms of their life, and going back to the ego of turning down that coaching opportunity at the end of baseball, right? When you walk in the next level, you're like, hey man, I think I want to get on this ship. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, well, there's an 80-hour barrier called coaching development that you got to get through, and then we can have another conversation. For a lot of people, that's a fucking non-starter.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're asking me to commit to my craft. How dare you?
I gotta do
Right?
more.
Yeah. It's like, I've already proven myself. I played D1. I got my degree. Blah, 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 blah. Right? No, you still got to earn it. Right? What makes a dude like you attracted to an opportunity like that?
Doing more. No. Yeah, the opportunity for more. No. It was the, like, one, seeing what's possible was big. Like seeing, 2013 and still chugging strong 10 years later. Like, oh shit, that's doable. First off, to actually be in the business that long and do it well. And like understanding that, I mean, one, I it had been in the back of my head for the longest time too. Like, probably it didn't take long to kind of get that itch back after playing ball and kind of getting out into the real world. That itch came back real soon of just being active, getting competitive, doing more, as the theme goes there. And then just seeing that here, like understanding that there is a process to be done, but like it's for a reason. It's an opportunity to learn and grow and progress as a coach. Because honestly, coming off the street and hopping right into leading a class or taking on clients, like it's kind of terrifying. Like I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't really know. So like I don't feel ready to just jump out there and do it. And I know I'm sure there are people that do feel like that, but that definitely wasn't me in that spot there. I mean, that was a big part of it, just understanding that it's long, whatever, but there's a process to it, and there's a reason to progress through that process, rather than just, cool, man, you got a certification, let's rock and roll, see you Monday morning, you got 5 a.m. class. Like, no, that I would hate that. I would hate to be thrown into that spot.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that are like girls too, right? That played at a high level and think that that's the barrier to entry, right? Like that's what makes them good enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would contend that a large percentage of them, I won't go out on the limb and say that most of them, but like there's a reason that Brett Favre doesn't coach. There's a reason that Peyton Manning isn't readily available for an NFL coaching roster. You know what I mean? Because the things that made them so high level was very intrinsically driven, right? Tom
Mm-hmm.
Brady's not he's going to go sit and analyze. He's not going to go deal with players, right? And it's kind of the Achilles heel is the ego of the athlete transitioning into coaching, right? Because it's so easy to create that narrative. Well, these are all the things that made me great. And then you impress all of those values on others and you judge people against those values. And just like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people aren't built like us, right? In terms of prioritizing their, solving the fitness equation.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that that's already kind of, now built into the DNA from a, top 3 value standpoint, like the fitness thing is autopilot, right? I'm going to work out today. It doesn't matter what else is on the calendar. Like that always has a space in it. Right. Just like, other people in like the financial world, like right off the top of every paycheck, 10% goes somewhere in some kind of investment vehicle. They've put that on autopilot, right? Yeah. How do you, as a coach, having solved the fitness equation, right? What are some of the mechanisms that you found to be fruitful in helping your clients adopt that behavior?
Yeah, I think a big one is It takes it's a little bit different time wise for each client, but figuring out what makes them tick, like what, in the sense of, a competitive spirit, so to speak, like what drives them in that way. Is it, um, doing a workout for time, or trying to lift as much weight as you can, something like that, like understanding what aspect of that works for each person, and then just hammering that piece in, that gets picks them up, makes them want to keep coming back first off, but also creates that kind of internal drive too, to push a little bit harder, do a little bit more, show up maybe when you really don't want to show up. You're about to send that text of, I can't make it today, and then you realize you got some time domain to hit today that we talked about last session. Whatever that is, it's like just figuring out what makes them tick, what type of training makes them tick, what factors in their training, gets them fired up, gets them going, and then just hammering that in. I've one client who absolutely loves the time domain. Doesn't matter what we do, but we just put it on a clock and he fires it up right away. Another one is, dude, I just want to lift weight. I want to lift heavy weights and figure out how to do that, however long it takes. I want to hit these numbers. And like on paper, two totally separate plans, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. They're both competing against themselves from last week or last session, whatever that is. And then that, it maybe doesn't make it at kind of the level we're at, where it's like ingrained, it's like brushing your teeth, but it gets pretty damn close to that.
Yeah. There's something to be said for a reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And having that purpose and having a reason, right? You've been in the game long enough to have some pretty solid impact on a great many people. And I'm curious, like everybody has their one, right? That feather in your cap. Like, I played a role in that for them. What's your favorite client highlight?
Favorite client highlights?
No names.
I know. No names. But what jumps out? They know who they are, but when they listen to this, but what jumps out is they were, an early client of mine, started coming in, started doing the thing, talking through everything, realized a whole lot of shit in their life, their marriage, and all that. Realized, maybe it's time to jump ship, and they did it. Found whole new relationship, whole new marriage, whole new life plan, life goals, everything, and just absolutely killing it out there. But realizing that, directly or indirectly, however you want to put it, that I had a role in that and facilitating that, in that new kind of pivot that they took, where it's night and day. I mean, you can attest, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But how much more full of life and just happier that they are now, like being able to see that and know that I played some little role in there, like legitimately a life-changing type of pivot for them.
It's I think it's one of the underappreciated aspects of what we do, in terms of the being the guide for the heroes that are our clients, right? We can't do the reps for them, we can't eat the food for them, we can't get the sleep for them, right? All we can do is light the path. And even so, all the things that happen, in the layers around that fitness experience, that it's like, well, you start to recognize what is and what isn't in alignment for the highest and best version of yourself, right? And if fitness is the catalyst for that, right? If, to your point, like, I want to hit that number, I want to make these times, I want to do these reps, whatever. I want to feel better, I want to get off my meds. Like, if I want to accomplish all of that, and this is just highlighting, this is the mechanism that shows me how far away from that I actually am, well, if I want to bridge that gap that much faster, what else can I bring into alignment with this experience that I've now made a priority to bring me from where I am to where I want to be that much faster? And I think that's what makes the next level experience different, whether you're working with me, you, Joanna, Alyssa, Joe, is that we recognize all of those other things. So as we create more and more consistency around this little fitness piece, this 1 hour of their day, like, oh, what else can we stack on this that is going to compound this effort, right? And when that clicks for the client, dude, like their boundless potential becomes realized. And like knowing that this experience with us made that realization possible, dude, how fulfilling has that been for you?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like seeing how quickly you can have an impact like that too is pretty wild also. Because like having someone, they set that PR number, or they do something they didn't think was possible. They finish this white whale of a workout that they're, when they first started, or like, oh my God, that thing is absolutely not doable. I'll do like a quarter of it and still die. And then they finish the whole entire thing and they're like, well, that wasn't so bad actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like seeing how that transitions, and then they start coming in every day, the smile on their face, chest a little more puffed out, or whatever that is. Like it feels good, man. It feels good to see that and know that we play a role in that. And like, we're not directly doing it for them or telling them what to do, but it's that indirect kind of taking the long route, if you will, of getting them there and or helping them get there. And it just builds off each other too. One person does it, and the next person does it, and the next, and the next, and the next, and it just rolls from there.
We had a client that we just onboarded, and in their initial consult, one of the questions I love to ask is why now? And their answer was, I've tried and failed on my own, trying to make it happen with the knowledge and the resources that I felt like I had at my disposal, and it just wasn't working. And she's been, they've been at it like for years, this way. And then they tell me, I see myself in the people that you're helping, and I think I know that you have the answer to solve my problems. And the people that she sees herself in are the people that you guys are working with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And to me, that's that's what creates a 20-year career in this game. Right.
Yeah.
The money's okay. Right. Like that's fine. The people are awesome, for the most part. But when somebody comes to you having quote unquote tried everything, and the reason that you're having that conversation is because of the results that they've seen in others that you've helped, dude, that's exponential impact, right? That's we put a stop to their normal behavior and put enough social proof out there that, we talk about the gap, right?
Yeah.
Stimulus and response, and there was that social proof gave them enough of a gap between I'm gonna keep trying this with my own devices, and instead I'm gonna make this phone call and ask for help.
Yeah.
And for just for the people that we attract at Next Level, that's a monumental leap. Like that, it for one reason or another, and everybody has their own story, their own journey. like that asking for help part is so hard.
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
So it's something to be celebrated, in our people for, recognizing that, while they may have a lot of other things figured out in their life, like this is a really critical piece that with just a little bit of help can make monumental leaps and bounds, right? And like you haven't been doing it for 20 years like I have at this point, but you've been doing it long enough. What's the most gratifying part of the experience of coaching and working with people the way that we do for you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, kind of what you're just saying, like that impacts to where others notice it. So like having a client doing whatever they're doing, and then someone else comes up and says like, "Hey, dude, great job," or like, "Hey, you're looking great," or whatever. Like someone else is noticing for this person. It's like I can tell them all they want, but after so long, it's like, yeah, that's your job. Your job is to tell me I'm doing great or whatever. But when someone else notices it, like that's cool for them, but that's cool for us too, because that like you see that smile, you see them light up a little bit more when it's a stranger or a friend that reaches out. And like I had one client, he was, I think we posted up a before and after photo, and had friends from years back reaching out and saying like, "Hey man, great job," or like, "Dude, you're killing it." Like quick little messages. But when it's someone you haven't heard from in years and they're reaching out, they're noticing it, like that feels good. Like that's really cool. That's really cool to see.
And I think social media has created that opportunity as well, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like, oh my God, I didn't know that so and so was watching.
Yeah.
And
a lot more eyeballs than you think.
Yeah. And it's like we love to talk about, like nobody's watching, nobody cares. Post it anyway. We say
we
stuff
tell ourselves that. Yeah.
we say stuff like that all the time, but on the other side of that coin, like you don't know who you're inspiring, right? And I think that's a huge motivator for us in terms of like being willing to share our stories and make ourselves more human as coaches, because of the impact that we have and the position that we sit in the of influence in our clients' lives. Like it's so easy to allow ourselves to let them believe that we're not human.
Yeah.
Right. And just allow that untruth to be to perpetuate itself. Right. And when we can, take that empathy to another level and show like through conversations like this that, yeah, like I've had fucking struggles too, like it making that transition away from sport and into coaching and realizing like, oh shit, like what worked for me may not work for this person. I better pick up some more tools. I better, find some mentorship. I better, yeah, I better, go do some more homework. And, I think that's what sets you and the rest of the team apart is like, I feel blessed that the squad that we have has that white belt mentality, and everybody's thirsty, not only for knowledge, but just to improve. Right.
Yeah.
We talk about, in our team meetings, like better is better. I'd rather, and getting that cultural shift to occur where, we'd rather be successful than right. Right. And inviting those challenging conversations to take place, and nobody holds a grudge about it. Right. And then where that transcends us and filters into our clients, we're also able to confidently and competently hold our clients to a higher standard. Right.
Yeah.
And not allow them to buy their own bullshit wholesale. Right.
Yeah.
Which is a very daunting task because everybody has their own reasons for getting in their own way. Us too. right? And recognizing that to just be the human condition allows us to coach that much better.
Big time.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, oh, big time. Like understanding that we're all humans. Like humans make no sense. Humans are a whole bunch of stuff going on, everyone all the time. Like there's nothing rational about it in us and them. And like we work with everyone on nutrition, for example, but we all still have such a hard time with it ourselves too. Like it's totally normal. And I that was another big realization for me too, getting into the game a little bit. Like you don't have to be perfect all over to be able to coach what you need to be coaching. You don't have to be necessarily doing the exact same thing, but you're doing your own version of that, where maybe your training looks a little bit different personally than what my client's doing, but I'm still doing like that committed of a routine, that committed of a training stimulus, whatever it is, in the same fashion. It's just my version, not their version.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're all doing the same stuff, just in different ways. And it's like understanding that too is kind of a big realization, and allows, I mean, all of us really to have that empathy factor, to where like it's okay, we get it, we get that what makes you tick doesn't make me tick, and that's okay. It doesn't have to.
Yeah. Where does your appreciation for the basics come from?
I think honestly a lot of it actually probably comes from like a little bit of fear, because I don't have the exercise physiology degree or the master's in exercise science or anything like that. So I'm like, I basically had to learn it all on my own, not in the school classroom setting. So I was like, I gotta know these basics off the back of my hand. Like I gotta know them like that, no problem, 100% through and through, in and out. Because like that little bit, I don't have that credential to kind of fall back on, and say like, yeah, I went to school for this. I'll be fine. So kind of that little bit of ego coming in there too, where like I don't want to be called out or anything for it necessarily. So just hammering, spending time consuming information related to it, and it's like, I feel like everything I've watched or read at this point, like go into class and pass all those tests. Like I feel like I have that degree without having that degree, just based on everything I've observed, learned, read, watched. Just simply kind of out of that fear factor that I don't have that, cool background on paper.
Well, I'll tell you, man, if it makes you feel any better, there's plenty of dudes and girls that have more credentials than even I do.
Oh yeah.
And they fuck it up every single day. Right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there in the interweb,
Oh yeah.
And there's something to be said for not having that background that makes you, from a classroom perspective, that makes you great at what you do. Right. I can't tell you how many people have come up to me, in transition from one class to the next, and they're like, man, I love the way Matt programs. Right. And like, it's the basics, right? Mm-hmm. People try to make it sexy to make it interesting. Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean effective. Right.
Yeah. The basics can still be sexy.
The basic, I mean, like that's what all the results are based on.
Yeah.
Right. And once you understand, it's just like baseball, man. The fundamentals are what win games, and until you've mastered the fundamentals, well, there's really very little incentive in moving beyond that. Right. There was a point in our lives where it took this much work to make that much progress.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's, again, going back to the dark side of being a high level athlete moving into coaching, if you don't take that time away like you did, right, you look at everything that way. Like everything needs this much work to make that much progress.
Yeah.
When the truth is, when you've mastered your craft, right, it takes the right kind of work to make that much progress, right?
Yeah.
And like when I watch you do your thing and the way that you've really grown in, beyond coaching development and through the next level experience, it really sounds like, it really feels like, what I've observed in you is like a love for the process, right?
Oh yeah.
Both as coach and athlete, and that shows up in the way that you present on the floor,
Mm.
right? Like I understand that you want to be able to do XYZ, right? But I'm gonna show you how to get a kick-ass workout south of that and really help you understand that even though that's your white whale, that's your Moby Dick, right?
Mm.
There's you still have a goal that you want to achieve,
Yeah.
right? So let's keep our eye on the prize. And you have a really genuine way of explaining that to people, and it's really cool to watch, right?
Mm.
And experience. I get the benefit of taking your classes every once in a while too, you
Yeah. You're
know.
still doing workouts. Yeah.
And so like that's where I really appreciate the mindset of you and the team, right?
Mm.
Is like, okay, the minimum effective dose
Mm.
is the most powerful thing in our utility belt, right? And
Yeah.
with being able to mold that principle and weave it into every individual that gets put in front of us, right? And then watching those results become exponential in those individuals, dude,
Yeah.
like that's not something I've had very much success in the past uh watching people embrace. They
Mm.
want they're so preoccupied with what's sexy, what's hard, what's challenge,
It's cool. Yeah.
like, yeah. And what I've watched you master is fundamentals and basics. And because of that, because you've embraced that, people continually make progress.
Yeah. It's cool to watch. It's cool to see and know that, like we said earlier, like to know I played a part in that. I think a lot of that too, like as you were saying that, I kind of came to this realization, if you will, that like a lot of that stems from the athletic backgrounds and just growing up being athletic and everything. Because I remember when I went into like my first CrossFit class back when I was living in Austin out there, like it came like that. I'd been lifting weights, playing sports, doing a clean, doing a jerk, all that for however many years beforehand. But like I'd never done anything on a bar, never done like a muscle up or toes to bars or anything like that, but how how naturally it came to me in that setting, and that like I kind of realized as you were speaking, like that comes from the background that I've had. I've never trained any of those movements or anything like that, but the style of training that I'd always done allowed me to be able to do that right away. And so that's where, like, when I'm putting together the programs, like for the classes and everything, like I come back to that. Like, if you're training correctly in the right progressions, the right movements and everything, you don't need to be training 100 muscle ups every day to get your first muscle up. Like, you can do all these little pieces and parts, and then you can still do that one muscle up without gassing yourself out and getting frustrated, failing 100 times before you get the first one. Like, if you're doing it the right way, the right process, like we just talked about, like you'll still get there. And it's more fun too, because you're not getting frustrated because you can't do it for X amount of time.
It's funny, man. One of the things that I've poured into you guys, and one of the things that I wholeheartedly believe that one of the things that makes an effective coach is our ability to take all of our clients' wants and desires and goals and build out this beautiful program that bridges the gap between point A and point B. And along the way, we're giving them exactly what they need, disguised as what they want.
Yeah.
Right.
The arts
And
of it.
that's the art in combination with the science.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you're talking about that, that's how you make fundamentals, basics, the boring work sexy. Right. And that's what creates longevity in this game, is the ability to do that over and over and over again. And when you watch those light bulb moments in your clients and you're watching that third party gratification, like it's like, you get to a point, like you said, no, it's your job to tell me that I'm making progress. It's your job to tell me I look good, but then when some stranger, some random out there in the street, or, a newer member, shows up and says, man, like, I hope that one day I can do what you're doing. Like, game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Like, that's it right there.
Yeah. So yeah, man, dude, I really appreciate you taking the time today. I think that you've provided a lot of value to not only our clients, but our audience. And, for all of you out there in the interweb, if you're looking for training advice, tips, any and all things fitness and nutrition, follow Matt on Instagram at CoachMatt_AZ. Obviously, follow Next Level, #progress always. And we'll see you next time on the Progress Always podcast.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man.
For sure.